So we have come so far, and now it's another step. We have already become a creator, but what is left? After communicating with the universe, expanding ourselves, Babaji is telling us to be aware of our own thinking. So this is just that final bell to be aware of your thoughts. Enjoy what you have learned and then continue living from that space. A happy, open heart, open to receive love, give love, to be love. And now you become a master of creation. So we are that creator specialist. Before we start today's chapter, let us take a moment and settle down here in this moment to receive. Take a slow, long breath in and out. Close your eyes, gently feel yourself. Make yourself available completely. All that is gone, all that is there is perfectly fine, and we are here in this present moment, fully available to listen, to grasp, to understand, and more of it to receive. Let us connect with Babaji. Each and every chapter is his love. As Roger mentioned, that every chapter has come from his heart. It is for us to live and enjoy our journey on earth. A perfect human being. So let us thank Babaji for being there, for guiding us on this journey of unified. You may take your time and open your eyes by being fully present here. And anybody who wants to read, you can raise your hand, and I would welcome Shaileshji again. Good morning.
Welcome everyone. So who's ready to read now? Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you
I
for
just
beautiful reading. Already we listened. Audio.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
wonderful. So let us start.
21st week. Becoming a master of creation. You have free will. This can't be overemphasized. It squarely places responsibility on you for your life and what you experience. No one can take that away. No one can usurp your free will unless you willingly give them that power. Even that is your exercise of free will, and you can reclaim your power anytime.
Right, so as the title of the chapter goes, let's understand what we are doing in this chapter. So the primary focus in this chapter is to mastering the art of creation. We have to master the art of creation. We have to become masters of creation. So what is the most important thing for being a creator is to have choice, have the freedom to create. And that freedom to create comes through what we call as free will. We all know about free will, but today in this chapter, we will learn deeper aspects related to free will. How our free will helps us create, and what part of that creation can we deliberately do instead of letting unconscious creation happen. That is the primary subject here, right? So we are mastering the art of creation by becoming conscious creators. That is ultimately the purpose of this chapter. So what he is now explaining, I think all of us already know what free will is, and it is the free will places the responsibility on us for our life, right? Because nobody interferes with my free will. So whatever I do out of my free will, and because of that, I am responsible for my life. The total responsibility of my life rests on me, and no one can take that away, right? So the experiences that I get are my own creation. So no one can take away your free will unless you willingly give it that power, right? And even that giving the power to someone else is a willing act. So that itself is use of free will. So we could unknowingly give our power to somebody, and we are actually using the free will. Even that is your exercise of free will, he's explaining, and you can reclaim your power anytime. So if you have given somebody the power over your decision making, say for example, you tell one of your family members, okay, you make decision, I will go with whatever you decide. So you have given the power to choose to someone else. You can reclaim it anytime. You can withdraw that right that you have given to someone else to decide on your behalf. And this is a very small example, but unknowingly we give that power away to other people for much bigger things, right? It's simple example would be you go to a restaurant with family, and a person in the family makes choices for what we are going to order, and others agree with that choice, but there is much bigger that we usually give away to others, and it is sometimes very hidden thing. Like for example, you love somebody. What is that really meaning? You are actually giving the power of your life away to somebody. The feeling of happiness, you are giving that thing away to somebody. If that somebody is not there, you feel sad. What have we done? We have given the power to somebody else. That somebody else can exploit my weakness because I love them. That's what we have unconsciously done. So most of us, as the children start growing, parents start feeling that pinch that, oh, the children are not, they don't care for me anymore, they don't listen to me, they do whatever they feel like. All that starts to happen. Why? Because we are feeling insecure that we are going to lose something, right? And that is basically we have given power to them to play with our happiness. So this is much bigger release or relinquishing of free will to someone else. And the important line here is you can reclaim your power anytime. All of us, we have that right, because it's our free will is our natural right, which is above everything. All right.
All that the concept of free will means is that you are free to think whatever you want and you will manifest the corresponding experience. Free to think will manifest, free will.
right? So that the two components of free will, one is freedom. Freedom means no restrictions, no limitations. You are free, totally. To will, when you will, what happens? It's a different thing from desire, right? You could desire, but you may not will. Desire is, yeah, oh, I wish I had that, right? That's a desire. But when you will, you are actually activating the manifestation of that thought. So free will is initiation of manifestation. So will is creation of experience. Corresponding experience will get created when you will it. Right? This is the important thing to understand here. So every thought does not manifest. Only such of those thoughts where we apply our free will manifest. That is a distinction. Right? I may want something, I may keep on dreaming about it, but that may not become reality in my life. It may not become my experience because I have not willed it. Willing is putting your intention into it. I am now making this final. This is what I want, right? And that will initiate manifestation process, right?
By now, you know you have two choices of the thoughts you can have. Those you create are one of your choices, and those that are part of God's grand thought that created the universe are another choice.
Right. So now this is the next element. We are now looking at building blocks to becoming a master of creation. First thing was free will. Now we understand free will. Now what else he's talking about? The thoughts now. Thoughts, we now know there are two types of thoughts we can choose. One is thoughts that we have created, and the other is thoughts which are part of the God's thought which created the entire universe, right? So these are the two types of thoughts that we have now understood, like broad classification, right? Two primary classifications of thoughts, right?
Suppose you are hiking through the mountains and you come across two lakes to quench your thirst. One is small, stagnant, with a pungent stench. The other is large, clear, cool, and refreshing. Which one will you drink from? It is, of course, your choice.
Yes. So even this example is very beautiful example where he is explaining while we are hiking in the mountains, we are thirsty and we have choice, right? Universe always offers choices to us, multiple choices always. We have to choose. That's where we will, right? The freedom to will is where we exercise our choice, and the choice is totally up to us. We could choose to drink from that uh, small pungent water body, right? We could choose. It's our choice. So options are available. The universe is offering multiple choices. We are allowed to choose, and that freedom, this is that freedom part of it, right? So this is almost like a very generic but very open example. We can actually associate it with several different ways of thinking to create our understanding. So now next we continue with the example now.
Drink from the stagnant lake, and your experience will be uncomfortable, maybe even nauseating. Drink from the clean, cool lake and immediately be refreshed. Furthermore, the clear lake gives you energy, vitality, and alertness to carry you on your trip quickly. Its invigoration opens up new vistas for you to experience.
So here, what good thing is happening here now? Now he is connecting our choice, the will part of it, to experience manifestation. How my will manifests. So if I make a choice, if I choose to drink from the stagnant lake, my experience will be uncomfortable. We all know that, right? It may be even nauseating. But when I decide to drink from the clean lake, I will feel refreshed. And when I am refreshed, my experience coming out of being refreshed, my hiking will be even more enjoyable, right? I will be full of energy and alertness. I can enjoy my hike. That is the difference, the big difference, right? So it's think of it like our life. In our life, if we choose, if we make choices from something equivalent of stagnant lake, our experiences will be uncomfortable. Our experiences could even be nauseating to that level, right? Unbearable. But if we choose to drink from the freshwater body, then our experiences are enjoyable. The life itself will become a pleasure, right? So in the choice that we make brings the experiences. So this choosing part is the willing part, right? I have the freedom to choose. I can choose whatever I want. Nobody will prevent it. And consequence or the experience coming out of that choice will be my experience. So that relationship, the connection, is what is being established here. Okay.
That is the choice you have with your thinking. Choose your limited, fearful, judgmental thoughts, and you experience discomfort, even illness. But choose the unbounded sea of God's thought, and you can only experience God's qualities.
So now we are connecting the choice part with thoughts, because we know even when I have to make a choice for anything for that matter, I have to think. We have learned this in chapter 13, right? Spontaneous right action. We always think before we act. So whenever we are choosing, now thinking part of it, when we choose to use our own limited, fearful, judgmental thoughts, then our experience will be a difficult experience. We can experience discomfort, illness, whatever. But if we choose to use the unbounded sea, now he's giving the term unbounded sea of God's thought. That means it is limitless possibilities, unlimited possibilities, unbound. And then you can experience God's qualities. God's qualities we all know. We experience love, we experience peace, we experience joy, bliss, all those. That would become our experience, right? So our choice creates our experience, and we have the freedom to choose. That this is now the fundamental for subsequent uh, talk in this chapter. Subsequent discussion in this chapter is based on this fundamental, that our thinking creates our experience, and we have the freedom to choose what we want to think. That freedom is ours, right? So essentially, responsibility for my experience in my life is on me. That's what is being established. Okay.
You do not relinquish your free will when you freely choose to use God's thought. Quite the opposite. When you choose to think of your fear ridden creation, you quickly become its slave. You are bound by the boundaries you set up. You experience illness. You experience loneliness. You experience poverty. You are afraid and you distrust others. You feel fragile and vulnerable. These illusions enslave you. In that condition, you cannot continue on the road of life, freely making choices and freely experiencing the infinite games of love, abundance, peace, and happiness.
Right. So beautifully explained here, right? So we earlier, the first paragraph, we learned about how we relinquish our free will to others, right? We assign our free will to others, and we can always take it back. So what he's saying is, when we choose to align with God's thought, then we are actually not relinquishing our free will. Very important thing to remember. Aligning with God's thought means I am not relinquishing my free will to anyone, right? While when you choose to think of your own fear-ridden creation, think of your fear-ridden creation, right? Fear. So our creation, our thoughts, which are sourced from fear, they come from fears. So when we try to use them, what will happen? We quickly become their slave. This is relinquishing of our free will. So when we choose to use our own thoughts, what is happening? We become slaves of fear actually. Then we become slaves of fear. You are bound by the boundaries you set up. So we create our own boundaries. This should be the life. This is how everybody should behave. All the shoulds are bounds, right? Anything called should in our life is a boundary. We are creating rules, right? So what is happening? We set up our own boundaries and we get bound by it. We become slaves of our own rules in life. You experience illness, you experience loneliness, right? You experience poverty, you are afraid and you distrust others. So these are all consequences of attaching with that thought, which are originating from fear. You feel fragile and vulnerable, right? So like one example I gave you earlier of relinquishing your life's happiness to somebody else. I depend on someone else's presence in my life to feel happy. That is relinquishing, right? We become slave. Mentally we become slave. Emotionally we become slave. So all those experiences that are here, loneliness, illness, poverty, all these come from there. That becoming slave to someone else. That's where it is, right? So, and we are unknowingly we think, oh, I love him, I love this person, right? But what is actually going on there is this, right? So you are afraid and you distrust others. Then those experiences create ripples now. You further go down that chain. When you have bad experience, you start distrusting others. You get into illusions, you feel vulnerable. That's all what we are feeling. These illusions enslave you. These are all illusions. They are not reality though. I am only doing it where? In my head. That's why it's called illusion, because it's only in my thoughts that I am experiencing all this. Actually, nothing may be there. So we become slaves of our own illusions. In that condition, you cannot continue on the road of life freely, making choices. So when you are enslaved, any slave doesn't have the freedom to make choices anymore, right? When you are a slave, you have limited your choices in life. You are only allowed to do so much. The shoulds will block you, right? So making choices becomes very, very limited. And what is happening in the process? Think about it. Our free will stops functioning because now I don't have the freedom. So the free will becomes dysfunctional. And then experiencing infinite games of love. This is a beautiful word he has used here. Infinite games of love. Basically in Hindi we call it Leela, right? Krishna Leela. So this is that infinite games of love. Abundance, peace and happiness. Those are available for us to play, but we are not able to use that experience by becoming slaves to our own creation. So this is what is Maya actually, right? It's all in our mind, in our thoughts. We become slaves to our own creation. Think about it. Most of you are parents, right? You have a creation, you have children, and how much of enslavement you have experienced from that one creation of yours. Think about it. All of us becomes ultimately in our mind, we become slaves of our children. May not be directly as a person, but mentally we become slaves. That's what is going on. So this is something we all need to become aware of. Now we have to open up our awareness to, okay, what is going on? Yes.
God's thought guarantees your free will. Within that thought are infinite right choices. They are right because the choice of thought always leads to an experience of God's qualities.
Right, right. So this is simple. We have learnt it in all the chapters earlier, right? Aligning our thoughts with God's thoughts will result in experience of God's qualities. That and those there the choices are infinite. A more important thing here is they are infinite right choices. These are the right choices, and we have understood what that right is, the meaning of the word right. In earlier chapters we have learned it, right? The right spontaneous action. What was the meaning of the word right? The right means the one that aligns with my primary objective in life, becoming unified. So all the choices I make which support my becoming unified with myself are my right choices, right? So there are infinite right choices available when you align with God's thought. Why does it become infinite? Because we don't feel enslaved. We continue with our freedom. In that mode, we are totally free to think. We have the freedom, and because of freedom, the possibilities are infinite. Nobody checks, nobody creates a rule, nobody says you should do this. No shoulds there. Should is a very bad word actually. We create the should and get trapped in that thing. So be aware whenever you have this word in your sentence, become alert. What am I saying? Even if it is for yourself, be aware, become aware. What am I saying to myself? That one word should be taken out of your dictionary. Let it be there in Oxford Dictionary. Doesn't matter. But from your dictionary, try to remove that word. There are no shoulds, because should is a definition I created. And that's not God's thought. Right? Remember that. Okay.
It is everyone's choice to be happy, to be wealthy, to be loved, and to have successful projects. That being the case, there really is only one choice, the choice to dive into the vat of love called God's thought. In that vat are infinite choices for you to play and replay the mighty game of creation with the experience of God's qualities.
Right. So to be, to be happy and to be wealthy, to be loved and to have successful projects, what choice do we have? Everybody wants it, right? We all want happiness, we all want to be wealthy, we all want to be loved, and we all want to be successful. In all these four different areas, what is the choice we have? That in this case is really one choice. There is only one choice. We all want it, but now what he is telling us, there is only one choice, and that one and this is one is not from limiting point of view. This is from easiness point of view. That make it simple. That one choice will lead you into infinite possibilities, right? That one choice is to dive into the vat of God's love, God's thought, right? The love of the vat of love in God's thought. It's all basically just jump into that pond of love. That's it. That's one thing if we can do, then everything else opens up. The freedom opens up. Everything opens up for us. So the simple act of jumping or diving into the vat of love, and that God has given us, right? In that vat are infinite choices for you to play. You can play then. Is important thing here is play. Play means you are doing the action. You are doing the action in enjoying mode, in the happiness mode. That's how you feel when you are playing, isn't it? When we are playing, we are happy in the mind, in our thought. Our experience is a happiness. We are doing something we want. That's why children want to play, because they want to do what they like, right? So it's called a play, means you are doing something um, willingly from your choice that you are enjoying. And there are infinite such plays available to us when we jump into the pond of love, right? Infinity, imagine. And then you play and replay the mighty game of creation. Then you can play and replay and replay. Continue doing that process as long as you want. The mighty game of creation. So the creation itself is a game, right? Creation itself is a game. It's a mighty game. And with the experience of God's qualities, you will enjoy it like a play. So this entire creation will become an enjoyable experience or an enjoyable game for you. This is this is the art of creation. You can enjoy. Right.
Don't jump into God's thought and you will experience only what you can imagine. Your choices are limited by your own limited awareness, likely bound up in some fear. You can easily foresee what kind of experience will result.
So the opposite side of it is what he is describing now. If you choose not to jump into God's thought, then what you will experience? You will experience limitedness. Your choices are limited by your own limited awareness. Our awareness is limited because we use the five senses, which are again limited. So when we are experiencing life through the mind, we are experiencing limits, right? And that limits are also on our thinking. We start thinking in a limited way, and because of that, we are going to have limited awareness, and the experiences resulting from that will be consequences of that limitedness. And most of it, he's saying, it is likely bound up in some kind of fear, right? So most of such limitations are created, they come from fear. The basis of most of them is fear. So fear is more like a root from which all such difficult experiences, the limiting experiences, they come out from that, right? Fear is more like a seed that creates all that. And you can easily foresee what kind of experiences will come. If you start from fear, you can have any kind of experiences. Fear can result in a disease, an illness, right? A bad experience. Somebody will come and give you the experience of fear. You can feel the fear, and then it can actually have subsequent levels of bad experience. So the root is fear, and it develops into a bad relationship. Bad relationship can give you more levels of discomfort. Somebody can develop cancer. Maybe somebody can develop serious injuries on the body because of physical abuse or anything, right? So those are consequential experiences, and they can multiply. So root is fear, and from fear comes out all these kind of experiences, right? So Consequently, you can keep building that story to any level. The movies are based on that. Most of the social things are based on that only, right? Okay.
That is the essence of this course. You have learned to correct your thinking. You do it by being unified with your whole self and receiving its guidance. You now know a sure way to find out what thoughts need correcting and how to correct them. You have a sure way of manifesting your true desires.
Now this is clear. I think all of you have understood that throughout this course, this is what we are learning, right? Align with God's thought and your experience becomes that of God's qualities. So you do it by being unified with your whole self and receiving the guidance from your own higher self. We become whole and then we continue to receive that guidance from the higher self, and assured, now we know that how we do it also. We know the entire process, that you find out what thoughts need to be corrected. That process of creating formula. We are able to create our own creating formulas, right? So that entire process of reorganizing our thought, and that can create things for me, that they will manifest my experiences, right? We know that, and we can then manifest our own true desires. So in the previous chapters we have learned all that. Okay.
At this point, it is easy to lapse into complacency. Beware, even with this grand knowledge, you must be ever vigilant and diligent in your thinking. It becomes more and more automatic to be tuned into God's infinite resource of thoughts. However, at this delicate stage, the voice is like an FM tuner that drifts from its station periodically. Unless you stay on top of that tuner, you may start hearing another station without even knowing it.
Right. So here, the most important part of it is, now that we now know the whole mechanics, how the experiences are getting created and what do I do, all that we know. We can do a creating formula, we can correct our thoughts and all that. We know the process. What happens as a consequence of this is, we could potentially become complacent. And he is warning against that. Be alert, don't become complacent, because for that, the reason is that right now we have to be vigilant and diligent in our thinking process. He's calling this as a delicate stage right now. We are transitioning, we are still learning, we are still adapting to a different way of being. So when this adaptation is happening, we are going through a delicate stage. So in this delicate stage, slipping is possible. Because of complacency, we may not even know that we have slipped. So example is giving example of a FM tuner. You have tuned to one station. This is not really a problem in today's radios. They have a frequency locking, but in the past, the radios, you tune to one station and slowly it will if there is another station in a very close frequency nearby, the radios used to tune into that other station automatically, and suddenly I remember from my childhood, we used to be listening to the cricket commentary, and while listening to the commentary, it would that if the station is very nearby, it could suddenly go into another station where somebody is giving a speech, and you may not know when the switch has happened, right? And this is what he is warning against, that in our thinking process, if we are aligned with our higher self, we know we are aligned, and we are using that wisdom received from higher self and continuing to execute things in our life. Suddenly we may start receiving from elsewhere if we are not alert, right? That's what he's talking about. So being vigilant and diligent in our thinking is necessary. We cannot undermine the necessity of this, even how much soever expert we may become. Now think about the great artists, for example, somebody who has mastered the art, let's say watercolor. When they are doing their masterpiece, when they are creating, they cannot become careless. They have to be vigilant, and every stroke they put on their painting, that has to be a well thought out stroke. Then the painting becomes a masterpiece, right? So that vigilance, even though they are expert, they are really expert artists, well known, renowned, whatever, but they have to remain vigilant. Like same thing, you look at go and see a very famous celebrity actor in a movie. They can never lower their guard about their performance. You could suddenly see, oh, in this movie this guy hasn't been doing well, right? You will be able to notice it right away. So they have to be at the top of their performance in each and every movie, even if they are celebrities. That's what he is telling us, to become aware, right? Don't be complacent. You could suddenly tune into your own thoughts instead of receiving the thoughts from the higher self. That thing could slowly start fading, and we, because of our previous patterns and habits, we can slowly drift into our own thinking patterns, right? That's what he's guarding against. Okay.
Be diligent in your thinking. Refuse to think anything that is clearly the illusion of your making. A sure sign that you are bound up in illusion is that your thoughts are drifting into the past or into the future. Neither exists. What you remember and imagine took place is at best fragments and pieces. It bears little resemblance to truth. In all likelihood, you're dwelling on it with some fear that it will or will not repeat itself. Fearful thoughts can only give an unhappy experience.
Right. So now he's making it easy for us. How can we make sure that we are vigilant and alert about our thinking process? The easy trick he is telling us here, right? Refuse to think anything that is clearly the illusion of your making. Refuse to think such of things which are clearly the illusion of your own thinking. And the sure sign, how do you identify that you are bound up in illusion? How do you identify that? The thoughts are drifting into the past or into the future. So the moment you look at your thought, become aware of your thought, and you see that my thought is coming from the past or it's about the future, both of them are illusions. Remember that. Look at your thought, watch your thought, and if the thought is either of the two, that is definitely an illusion, and that should be your easy telltale sign, easy signal. Very easily you can say, well, okay, I don't want to be there. Refuse to think. See, refuse to think of those thoughts. So why is it illusion? Because neither exists, neither the past nor the future. They don't exist. Know that. What you remember and imagine that took place in the past is at best fragments and pieces. You can never remember the whole thing. From the past, our memory contains only fragments, and sometimes even those fragments may not be the truth. They would be our filtered experience. So we have to be very careful. Past actually does not exist except for your memory. It's nowhere else, right? If you see around you, there used to be an old building here. Now that building has been removed. Now there is another building that has been built there. So does that old building remain? No. In physicality, everything is in the present. So in the physical thing around you, past does not exist, right? So where does it exist? You still have the memory of the old building, and it is in the mind, in our memory. So all the past that we think is from the memory. And what he's saying, it is at best fragments of reality, right? It bears little resemblance to truth. Very important thing, never forget this. Any thought of the past, you may think, oh no, I remember exactly this is what happened to me. Be very careful. Rethink. It bears little resemblance to truth. In all likelihood, you are dwelling on it with some fear. Why are we connected with our past? It is because of the fear that it will or will not repeat itself. It may or may not repeat. Supposing it was a good experience, let's say, from the past. Now, you are thinking about it. When you think, well, when will I have that experience again? We are again dwelling in the past, right? And association of fear in all such thoughts of the past should be very clear to us. They are coming out of fear of losing something, right? That experience was good to me at that time because that person was loving me. Now, that person may or may not be there around me now. Now what happens? I am in fear. I am limiting myself to my own thinking, and that's the drift, right? So, the past is always, it comes from fear, and fearful thoughts can only make you unhappy. The experience that we get from such thoughts will be unhappiness. Okay, let's talk about the future now.
The future is just as illusionary. It clearly is your fantasy. Usually, your thoughts of the future also have an element of fear that something will or will not happen. Thoughts of the future and the past are sure signs that you are dwelling on an illusion. Get off it immediately. Change your thinking. Swing back into the present.
All right. Now, this is a very, very important part. Understanding future. Understanding a future, we should be very clear. He says future is just another illusion. Just like the past, it's only in my thought, right? Future physically does not exist. I see a blank plot of land somewhere, and I see a building there in future. But right now, that building does not exist. I am only imagining my thought, right? This is only in my thought. So it's an illusion. Tomorrow, when that actual building comes there, it may or may not look like that. You must have seen some people do posts on Facebook and so on, where they say, well, what the architect described and what the engineers built, they don't look alike. You must have seen examples of that. The architect's imagination of the building, it's only imagination, and they draw it. And when actual building came up, it is not exactly that way. It's different. So this is the difference between reality and thought, illusion, right? You have to know future is an illusion. And why is it never certain? What's special about future? Future is being created now. Anything that happens next for me is based on my choices that I'm making now, right? If I have the choice, well, you can have this hot breakfast, you can have cold breakfast, or you can have no breakfast. I have three choices. What I will experience next is not present now. My experience will depend on what I choose out of the three, right? And nobody can predict what I will choose, right? So how can future be even imagined? It cannot be predicted. Nobody. That's why predicting future is just a gambling game. At every point in our journey, we keep making those choices which take us on a different path, and the future changes. We are constantly modifying future through our present actions. So I always remember future is being created now, right? So the now is so important. We'll talk about that now thing a little bit further in the chapter, that everything that we are doing now will have an impact on my experience tomorrow. I am manifesting my experience now, and the manifestation will happen tomorrow or in the next moment, right? So that is the relationship. So future is being created in the present. Very, very important, right? So what he's saying, thoughts of future and the past are sure signs that you are dwelling in illusion. Both of them are illusions. And get off it immediately. As the moment you identify I am in such a thought, immediately get out of it. Change your thinking. Swing back into the present. Swinging back into the present is a very important activity. We will look at it now further in this chapter. Very, very important.
Listen to the present sounds. Smell what's around you. Look, it is all exciting. The thoughts of God are only in the present. There you experience His qualities.
Okay, so simple way of, now if once you see that I am in illusion, I am in the past or future, as soon as I am alert about it, as soon as I identify, yes, that's where I am, what do I do to come into the present? This is what he is explaining. Listen to the present sounds, smell what's around you, look, see, it's all exciting. So bring all your senses to where you are in the physical reality. Immediately deploy the five senses into wherever you are. That's the best way of coming into the present. Bring your awareness to what am I smelling? What am I seeing? Bring your awareness to what your senses are showing you at that moment. Not your mind showing you through imagination. Bring awareness to the senses. That's the easiest way of coming to the present. And once you come to the present, you experience presence of God in whichever way you can think of. Because that can happen only in the present, right? If we think about God, it is illusion. That's very important to remember. The presence, when you are in the present, whatever you experience is actually experiencing of God. Note it down in your notebook. When you are in the present, whatever you experience is the presence of God. This is my experience. I'm telling you from my experience. Okay, so now let us understand being in the present is very important, right? That means training the mind to not drift into either the past or the future. That's the training of the mind. And when we are able to do that, when we remain in the present, right? Remaining in the present, Sandhya ji is mentioning here awareness to breath. Yes, breath is happening in the present only. Breath will not happen in the past. And so is God. God is beyond the time, right? God is present in everything all the time. So what we have to understand is that being in the present means my awareness is in the present, right? I am aware of myself. And when I am in the present with my awareness, what am I experiencing? I am experiencing reality. And in that moment, I am aware of what I have. So this is what we will be talking about subsequently. Bringing your awareness to what you have is important, right? When I'm aware of what I have, my awareness now is not on what I don't have or what would happen in future. None of that, right? My awareness is on what I have around me in terms of what I'm able to sense through my awareness, right? That is being in the present. And that is a very critical element of our well-being. So let's see here.
If you notice thoughts of poverty, snap out of it. Think abundance. Count your blessings. Dwell on all the things you do have. Feel affluence. Only with these thoughts can the experience of wealth manifest. And for heaven's sake, never joke about being poor.
Right? So some very important concepts are here. If you notice thoughts of poverty, again, snap out of it. So now he is teaching us about how do we manage the thinking process, right? So anytime you notice thoughts of poverty, and we know that the God's quality is abundance, right? So poverty is definitely my illusion. I have created it. So I have to switch out of it. And as soon as we do that, how can you do it? By coming back into the present, right? Bring awareness to the present through all your five senses. Then what you do, what you will see right away will be what I have. You will then be able to see. You can actually count your blessings. Oh, I have this, I have that, I have that, I have that. I have everything that I need at this point. I have everything I need at this point is a blessing. Everything is a blessing for me now. So you can then count your blessings, dwell on all the things you have, right? Feel the affluence at that time, right? Only with these thoughts can the experience of wealth manifest. This will actually create wealth for you as a real life experience. That is manifestation of wealth. Bringing your awareness to what you have, counting your blessings, essentially counting blessings is feeling the gratitude, right? That feeling of gratitude kicks the process of creation. More and more opportunities to be grateful will be created for you. When we are in gratitude, that's what we trigger. So when you bring your awareness to what you have, you will automatically feel the gratitude, and that feeling will create opportunities for being grateful for in future. That is manifestation of wealth. So he's talking about the wealth part of it, right? This is a key, very important key. When our awareness is not on lack, our awareness is on what we have, the affluence that I have. And it doesn't matter at what level that affluence is. It's just my feeling of affluence that is important, right? I may not be as rich as Bill Gates. I may not have that kind of wealth. Fine. But what I have is my affluence. I am affluent. I have everything that I need, right? And when I have everything that I need, why should I worry about that one vacuum cleaner that I don't have? That is such a tiny little thing, right? I have everything for my need available to me. When my awareness is on what I have, I can feel affluence. When I'm thinking of that one little thing that I don't have, I can only feel lack. I cannot feel affluence because I'm thinking about something I don't have. This distinction is extremely critical to understand. In your thinking pattern, identify when are you in that thought. And as soon as you identify that thought, he is calling it thought of poverty. That is actually a thought of poverty. How much soever affluent you may be, If you are thinking of even one thing that you don't have, that is a thought of poverty. Only somebody who's poor thinks of things that they don't have. Right? Those who have everything will never think of what they don't have, because they have everything. Right? Think about it. Our thinking patterns bring us there. So this one very important sentence here is, and for heaven's sake, never joke about being poor. Even jokingly, do not think about being poor. Why? Because the moment you think about being poor, even though it is a joke, you are setting something in motion. Manifestation begins. So he is warning us, even for a joke, don't talk about being poor. Right? And don't even, also the other side of it, don't joke about somebody else's poverty. If somebody else is poor, don't even joke about that. Why? Because when you are joking about poverty, you are having your awareness on poverty. You are feeling entertained with poverty. Poverty is the subject of your feeling entertained. You are entertaining yourself from poverty. What are you triggering in the universe? You are triggering more poverty. So remember, what do you feel entertained with is directly related to your experiences. So wifey jokes, husband-wife jokes, these jokes will create those situations in life. Because now you are entertained by a fight between husband and wife. Oh, fantastic, you will get more of it. Your entertainment will produce those experiences. So be careful about what do you feel entertained with. That will tell you about your thinking patterns. Right? So a very one sentence, but lot said behind that one sentence. Okay.
If you notice thoughts of not being loved, snap out of it. Send out thoughts of love to everyone and everything around you. Know that you love yourself. Feel that love. Only with these positive thoughts of love can you manifest the experience of being loved.
Right. Absolutely same thing here, right? Now we are in, earlier we talked about being wealthy, now we are talking about being loved. Loneliness is a feeling of not being loved, right? That feeling of not being loved is uh, is something we know it's not God's quality. We are aware of that, and as soon as you notice something of that nature, immediately come, snap out of it and get into thought of love. I am love. That's the primary thing we have to remember always. As soon as you think of something like that, I am love. And the thought of love to everyone, you start sending love to everyone. Right? When you start sending love to everyone, you begin to receive love. That means receiving love means you begin to, or your awareness opens up to love that already exists around you. That is the meaning of receiving love. You have love around you all the time. We are just not aware because we are drifting into future and past. Our awareness is elsewhere, not where I am. So when I bring my awareness to where I am, I can notice things that are there already. And then only you can feel love. That is receiving love. Right? So if one has a thought of not being loved, that means where their thoughts are not in the present. They are not able to feel that the love is present around me and everywhere. That's where he's talking about, right? Only with these positive thoughts of love can you manifest the experience of being loved. Then you will manifest it, right? When you are feeling love, you are actually triggering that awareness to the universe, and that's what you will receive. Usually you would hear people talking about it. You give love and you will receive back 1,000 times more, right? That's the meaning of that. Opening up our awareness to receiving love. Okay. Okay.
If you notice thoughts of failure in your activity, snap out of it. It is crucial for success that you think of success. Visualize that you are presently a successful person in whatever you are doing. Whatever you're doing at the moment, know that it is successful, whether it is washing the car or the dishes, eating a meal, shopping, or putting together a business deal. For that present moment, know that you are successful. Get in the habit of living successful present moments. Be careful and vigilant not to dwell on the future. Stay only with the present. The future never comes.
So beautifully said here, right? You may want to read this thing slowly, several times, and let this thought sink in, right? If we are noticing thoughts of failure in whatever we do, that thought is immediately we be alert to it, come out of it, snap out of it, and think about success. I am successful in what I do now. So, to be able to experience that feeling of success, you have to come to the present. Whatever you are doing at the moment, right? The example is given is washing the car or doing the dishes. Even doing the dishes, you can feel success. I can do the dishes very well. When I clean my dishes, they are absolutely clean and shining. They are also free of any infecting virus or germs or bacteria, whatever, right? They are clean enough for me to have a healthy meal next time. So this is my definition of own success. I am successful in washing the dishes. Every tiny little thing that I'm doing in the moment, feel success with it, right? So let's say you are cooking in the kitchen. So cooking is not a one-time process, right? You have several steps that go into cooking. Ultimately, a dish comes out. So at each step, feel the success. I am able to successfully recollect all the ingredients I need for this recipe. That is one step of success. You can recollect. Yes, I need this, I need that, I need that, right? Then next step, you gather all those ingredients at one place. Well, okay, I have all the ingredients. Feel the success of being able to do that. This is how becoming used to, he says, get into the habit of living successful present moments. Every moment that you are living, if you are feeling success there, what are you actually doing is you are stabilizing in the present moment, getting used to being in the present moment, using all your focus on what you are doing, right? So this habit of being successful will help you. Being successful is just a, I would say, carrot that has been dangled here. But eventually, the exercise will lead you to being in the present. Be careful and vigilant not to dwell in the future. So, when you are gathering the ingredients, your thoughts can take you to the future. Well, is this really the ingredient that I need to put in this recipe for what it's going to do to the recipe? That is a thought of future, right? I personally, when I cook, I exactly do what I'm just saying. I simply think of ingredients, gather them in one place. They may not be the ideal recipe ingredients in somebody else's definition. Fine. For me, at that time, funny thing is, the same recipe, same dish I prepare, every time different ingredients. Whatever I feel at that moment, this is what I need, these are the ingredients. I am always there with the ingredients, and then I start putting them. I start cooking. I'm there. I'm not considering what is going to do. I'm at that time, this is what I feel like putting in it, I put it. This is how much I want to put in, I will put it, right? And when I am in that mode, when I am doing the cooking in this fashion, I have no sense of fear. I am creating my recipe with the sense of satisfaction. I am able to do what I want to do. I am able to create my own recipe. I am able to do my thing that I want to eat, right? So this is being in the present, connecting with the act that you are doing at that time. So be careful and vigilant not to dwell in the future. Stay only with the present. The future never comes. This is a sentence you should actually put on the wall. The future never comes. Difficult to understand. Comprehension is very difficult. Many people will have difficulty. Then why do we have a word called future? When it never comes, we should not even have it in dictionary. But mind is always there only. That's the illusion, right? But that's why it's called illusion, because it never comes. Okay.
You must now be ever diligent in your thinking. Whenever you lapse into the illusion, return again and again. Never tire of returning to God's thought.
Right. So that thought of cooking, I was just continuing in that thought also. Um, Behind the scenes, Preeti and I, we do a lot of discussions. We talk about the topic and what more we can do, how can we make it easy, and so on. We do lots of discussions, and during the discussions we also talk about what we are doing. Right? So I keep telling Preeti, well, I cooked this thing, it is so delicious, right? And she keeps on wondering always. Whenever he talks about he cooked this thing, he always calls it delicious. Right? I have never said any time, I would never say that what I cooked didn't taste well. Never. Because I have always created it with pleasure and I accept it with pleasure. I enjoy it, right? So that's what I'm talking about, being in that mode of being successful every moment. Being in my mind, that was my success. I was able to create a dish. That's it. To me, that's a big job. I have done it. I'm successful, right? Okay. So now coming back to this paragraph now, you must always, this is the key to this particular chapter. We must be always diligent in our thinking. Diligent in our thinking. We have to put an effort there in our thinking process. Whenever we lapse into illusion, return again and again, just like we do during meditation, right? In meditation, we drift into thoughts and we bring our awareness back to the breath. You drift into thought, bring awareness back to the breath. Same thing here. You drift into illusion, bring back to the present moment. Drift into illusion, bring back to the present moment. Return again and again. Never tire of returning to God's thought. Right? So instead of calling it present moment, he is calling it God's thought. And they are one and the same thing essentially. They are not different. So never tire of returning to God's thought. Right? That's how critical this is. Yeah.
Most of the time, you know when you're not thinking correctly. All this week, give particular attention to this. Practice diligence. You have free will to turn your thoughts and experiences around.
Yeah. So feel this confidence. I have free will. I can use it. Now I will create. Right? Take control of your experiences. That is what he's telling about, right? So during this week, you need to practice this, that be diligent about thoughts, thinking. What am I thinking? Put your due diligence into your thinking process, being aware of what I think, and then putting the effort to return back to God's thought every time you notice you are not there. Every time you notice, come back. No, that diligence is basically training of the mind. Training of the mind is again, mind can never be in the present. The funny thing is, mind's characteristic is illusion, right? So it will either be in the past or the future. So mind will constantly pull you into that illusion, constantly. And when you are in the present, you are actually practicing transcendence of the mind. That's why it is difficult. So it is a very big thing, not a small thing. This is a lot of Buddhist traditions, they follow this. Walking mindfully, they call it mindfulness, right? Walking mindfully means you are bringing all your senses to the present. Doing everything mindfully means being present in the moment, doing whatever you are doing. So this is how it is. So practicing this diligently, being in the present. Every time you notice your thought is drifting, come back to the present. Yeah.
Of course, your higher self is there for a helping hand, guiding you now with stronger and stronger intuition. Listen and act on that reliable intuition.
Right. So when we start practicing this diligently, what we are going to be able to do, we all know that higher self is always there with us to help us with the right information we need at every moment. So our connection with higher self, the intuition, the way we receive higher self's messages will become stronger and stronger, and we can then now listen and act on that reliable intuition. If you remember, I told about this intuition, right? Intuition, your inner tuition, you have a tutor built in, right? That's what intuition is. So you have an inner tuition happening constantly. Now you begin to make use of it. Act on it because it is reliable, right? So that acting on your inner tuition should become your practice. This is the due diligence we have to do. Okay? Coming out of illusion, and when you come out of illusion, you start listening to the higher self, and that is the wisdom you need in the moment at every time. Okay.
Besides your intuition, you may have noticed some physical body signal from your higher self that tells you about a negative thought. It is usually uncomfortable, and when you get it, you just know that you're thinking or doing is, and you just know that what you're thinking or doing is inappropriate.
Right. So going back to childhood, if you remember, that is, and it may still be happening. So whenever we are doing something that we know is not right, what happens to us? Yeah, let's say, think about your childhood. You stole a cookie from the cookie jar and your mom caught you. I didn't take it out, right? And when you are saying that I didn't take it out, knowingly that you have done that, your body responds in a certain way. You get that signal from your higher self. You feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is recognizable. Each one of us should be able to recognize how it felt at that time. And that is your higher self signal telling you about negativity. That is what he's talking about. It is usually uncomfortable, right? So, physical body signal from higher self. You may have noticed it. It is usually uncomfortable, and when you get it, you just know that what you're thinking or doing is inappropriate. That's all. You learned that, right? That signal told you, whenever I lie, this is how I feel. Whenever I lie, this is how I feel. So that is your higher self communicating to you. Okay, so we do have a clear indication already established, and all, let's see here, now we will practice it.
All this week, during your quiet period, ask your higher self to feed you your negative signal. Then sit back and experience that sensation, movement, or whatever. Become very familiar with it and allow it to speak to you in your activity from now on. Whenever you get it, immediately make the correction in your thoughts and action that you know is called for.
Right. So now this is one more signal now we are going to establish with the higher self consciously. Earlier it was coming and we just knew that something is like that. But now consciously establish a signal with the higher self to ask for negative, we call it negative signal. Right? So from higher self, we have initially what we did, higher self's presence, that signal, right? That higher self is present right now. Second thing we got from higher self was signal for unwanted influence. That was another signal we got. This is the third one now. We are now asking higher self to alert us by giving a signal about presence of a negative thought. Presence of a negative thought. We are now going to call it negative signal. So whenever I have a negative thought and I am not in awareness, higher self can give me that signal and alert me. Right? This is the purpose of this exercise, so that we are vigilant of our thinking process. What is going on in my head? That thought process, right? So for that vigilance, we have a watchdog, the higher self. Higher self is going to watch and be able to give you the signal if you are not aware. Usually we should be vigilant, but if you are not, then this signal will tell you. So ask for that signal during this week, finalize it. Okay, what will it be between me and my higher self? How am I going to be alerted by my higher self? Establish that signal, and whenever you get it, immediately make the correction in your thoughts and actions that you know is called for. Once you are familiar with the signal, anytime you get the signal, immediately pay attention to thought and do the correction as needed. That's the purpose, right? So becoming familiar with the signal is important. It could be anything. I mean, now you know what a signal means, right? Through so many signals we have done, now you know what it is. So you will get your own signal, right? It could be anything.
You are rapidly becoming a true master of creation. Your creation is filled with only success, wealth, health, love, and peace. All of God's qualities are yours to experience always.
Perfect. So you are rapidly becoming a true master of creation. You are learning the art of creation and perfecting your art. That is becoming the master of creation. So becoming a master of creation, we now have all the tools for it. We know about our free will. We know about our own ability to reorganize our thoughts through creating formulas. And we now also have a signal that will tell us about a negative thought's presence. Because if we are not conscious about a negative thought's presence, what are we doing? We are manifesting that negativity in our experience. That's why it's critical to identify that and get rid of it. That could be poverty, thought of poverty, right? Thought of ill health. All such thoughts, we have to snap out of it as soon as we identify them, so that we don't create from that thought. We immediately get back to the present, and back to the present means immediately connect with God's thought. And then create from here. When we create from here, our experience will be that of God's quality. Right? So this is what we are learning, mastering the art of creation. And your creation will be filled with only success, wealth, health, love, and peace. What more do you want? All of God's qualities are yours to experience always. We are gifted, we have been given, we have been blessed with all the God's qualities for experiencing, right? So thank you for your patience and listening to me so patiently. And thank you, Anna, for reading it so beautifully. You did it twice today, once before the session, once through the session. Thank you. It's so nice to hear you. Thank you, Masters. Now you can break your patience and ask questions if you want. We will go through the practice also. Preeti is going to lead us through the practice for this practice of requesting the signal.
Today we got the wings. Patiently you gave the wings slowly, gradually. Okay, now enjoy your free will. No more running away. So now the ball is on our court. Now we know where to park, what to do with it. So definitely enjoy this as a gift. The free will comes with responsibility, but it is not something that makes our shoulders heavy. It adds quality to life where we experience what we choose. We get the power of creation by being a creator. And it's so easily defined where to be and what to do. So, always in our heart space, aligning with God qualities, gratitude, noticing what we have, where my awareness is right now, and then that correction of thought could be one of the past chapters we have done, like you mentioned, spontaneous right activity, maybe self acceptance of ourselves or somebody else, or forgiveness, right? Or just claiming that all knowing intelligence at times. So, all that is covered in this one line, where because this chapter doesn't state how to practice it. It assumes that we know how to practice it, how to go to the quiet period and get our signal. And if it's like any other signal we have received, ask again. And if the signal is persistent, that is your signal for any negative thoughts. And you just become aware of that. And it works so beautifully. Even with the tiniest, slightest of such thoughts, you will start getting the signal. And we have been getting it all our life, but we never knew it. Now we have categorized it. Okay, it's my higher self communicating with me. Let's stop here, look back, and take a pause, step back, and then come back to the picture. So it is actually helping us to live in present moment. To be a creator, that's what we need. So beautiful, just grasp, read, reread, even though many of the things we know, but if you will find that the same thing has been repeated in so many paragraphs and they're beautifully interconnected. So while you're reading, you will make it permanent that, okay, I need to be here in this present moment. Where am I? Especially while doing dishes. It's not so fun and we just go all over. So let us go into the practice today and then we'll talk afterwards. So just settle down. If you need, take a break, come back, sip some water and relax. It is a journey to enjoy throughout the life and gradually we master it. Nothing very difficult. We always wanted to be on that right side. And Babaji has trained us to be there for all this week. So take a slow, long, deep breath in and out and relax. Relax furthermore. Become more quiet and absorb that has been accumulating in past more than 1 hour. Some we absorbed, some is still lingering around. So breathe in them. Breathe in those beautiful gems of awareness. We are becoming the master of creation, one after the another, having infinite possibilities and infinite energies, infinite God's thought. Why? So that we don't have to copy, so that we live the uniqueness of universe. That is true alignment. I am a loving expression of love. I am a loving, unique expression of love. Playing with infinite energy, infinite possibilities, and creating where I am in this present moment, in this body. So with every breath become comfortable. It's nothing new. We have been playing with it, but now we'll make it happen. We'll see it, we'll make it. To realize what God made, a perfect human being. When we live with our whole self, we experience that. So breathe in, breathe out. Seeing God's thought of creation, and I in that. One with God's thought. It's my natural state to be aligning, to be aligned to God's thought without any effort. We put some effort to create illusion and got drifted. So with every breath, release and let go. All that mind created illusion, time bound, limited, incomplete illusions. I let go and I release. All my illusions, made in illusion, made in fear, unsurety, doubts. As I perceived the partial truth of my life, I was living partial truth. In this moment, I become aware of my whole self, my true self. One who is aware of God's thought of creation. I'm that. Now breathe it fully. Make it yours. Feel your entire body breathing as you inhale and exhale. From every cell, the breath goes in and out. Feel like a wave. From bottom to top. Where the wavering mind is settling, becoming calmer and calmer. Feel your heart space already pulsating, making aware of its presence. If not, then touch your heart space with your hand at the center of your chest. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel. Feel the pulsation that's God's love. Present in every shape. Or no shape. This is the state to be. This is the place to be. Whether eyes are open or closed, it always stays. You just need to be aware of it. Feeling this space more and more. Makes it intense, amplified, so that the whole body feels it. Just like the whole tree breathes, vibrates, our whole body can feel this heart pulsation as one. That gentle tingling sensation in each and every cell. Merges into one giant pulse. With every beat, with every breath, it is truly healing. Because it is God's love, the life force. Takes us closer to the truth. The more we experience, the more we trust. We trust our own self and our own practice. Now this radiates all around us into our energy field and into the space. So just feel your energy field and clear your aura. Sending this love from your heart center. Feel it going outward to your energy field, to all uninvited influences in my aura. I send love and light. Each one of you are whole and healed. Each one of you are created as love and light. You are still love and light. No need to be afraid. Do not feel the pain, as I know a perfect place for each one of you to go. And I request my higher self to take you there now. Each one of you go in peace. I set you free. And I close my aura to all except my higher self. Feel your space clean and clear. Feel your being. Innocent and pure. Divine and whole. Let us become aware of our higher self signal. My beautiful higher self, please give me your signal now. It comes as quickly as we ask. So just thank for its beautiful presence. It's always there. We feel when we become aware of it. With this loving heart, let us send love and light to all the thought forms around us. I send love and light to all the thought forms and all the objects around me. Feel that you are sitting on love, the chair of love. All the gadgets, books, furnitures, everything around is as soft as love, as gentle, as beautiful as light. Now feel your space expanded beyond this body. Can you feel it? That unbounded space in front we call darkness has no boundaries. Now let us become one with God. As we are made in the image of God, all His qualities are ours. So as you get drifted with your thoughts, come back and sing along. I am made in the image of God. And all its qualities are mine. God is love. So I am love. Let it vibrate into the space as we resonate. Then we accept our true nature. And the true nature of this space. You feel that oneness, wholeness. God is light, so I am light. Feel it. With every affirmation, if your body rejects it, you might feel a squeeze or sensation. Some sorts of body sensation will tell you that I do not agree. So reaffirm, it's my inherent quality. God is light, so I am light. Reaffirm until the body enjoys it. God is truth, so I am truth. I exist beyond this body. I'm that unchanging, creation of God. the only creation of God, the basis of creation. I am that. I am love. I am happiness, joy, and bliss. Nothing less. Yes, I have everything, all that I need. The day and night, the healthy body, and a beautiful mind. Feel it. I am peace and gentleness. God is peace and gentleness. So I am peace and gentleness. Not filled with turmoil or worries. That stillness, that calmness, that persists. That makes love dance. That makes joy laugh. And sometimes as deep as ocean, I am calm and still, holding all that I am. God is abundance, so I am abundance. Everything in nature is one with God, and so with me. Everything is there to fulfill my needs and desire. And I take it with gratitude and love. I don't have even shadow of lack. I feel fulfilled, content. So I thank. I thank for the beauty of life that I am. God is all-knowing intelligence. And so I am all-knowing intelligence. All that I need to know is available to me at the right time. God is omnipresent, everywhere present. So I am as love. The more I become love, my presence expands and my awareness expands. God is infinite energy. So I am infinite energies. That unbounded, unlimited expression of God in this human body. I am that. Now I use my free will to live this. I am a unique creator, perfect and whole, as God made me in His perfection, and I am His perfection. Now I live it with my whole self, my true self. God is non-judgmental, and so I am non-judgmental, one with all, one with love, with open heart, watching as God is watching. Let things happen. Be in this space of love. Watching others creating their illusions or their truth. Everything and everyone is made in the image of God. So let everybody, every creator enjoy its own creation. That's the only way we achieve or we come to the path of truth. Feel that oneness with one and all. That uniqueness that I am. Now learning to be a specialist of creations. So let us seek guidance from our higher self. My beautiful higher self, please guide me to become, or me to become, a master of creation. Please give me your signal for my negative thoughts. Whenever I dwell in past or future, in my worries, in my limited thinking, in my lack, in my criticism, in my judgments, in my thoughts of doubts and worries and failures, thoughts of being unloved, unworthy, not enough. In fear, I lose my free will. I live like a slave of my own limited thinking. So, my dear higher self, please give me my signal for my negative thoughts. Be open to receive. Feel any sensation that might be uncomfortable. Ask again if you lose your awareness. My dear higher self, please give me my signal for my negative thoughts in my mind. Become aware of any hot or cold sensation, any contraction, twitches, maybe feeling nausea or fearful. Or a temporary moving pain. Scan your entire body. maybe like a bubble. You may want to confirm your signal with your yes and no signal. Or ask again. As you receive the signal, just thank your higher self. So when we are at our heart space, we could scan entire body from its calm state to any movement, any sensation. Just be aware. So I thank my higher self for giving me my signal now. As I understand, I create my reality with my thoughts. I am more aware of it now. I choose to be in the vat of love. I choose to be in the present moment. I choose to be aware of my thoughts. Instead of dwelling into a stagnant, old past thinking, I choose to flow like a river and change my thoughts as soon as I become aware of it. It is missing the tuning center of love. So in order to resolve this signal, I may need to clear my aura again, change my thought and do creating formula again, unify with God and send love again. As I never get tired of becoming one with God, my true nature. Where I belong, now I persist. So let us thank Babaji again for guiding us on this journey, for making us aware of our free will today and making us aware how to use it in the right way. And I start my practice today. to empower, to become a master of creation. To empower myself, to live life of happiness, joy, love, abundance, success in all that I do, being my true self. Let us make it permanent. Heaven is now, not after leaving the body. Let us enjoy the heaven within. Feel this wholeness and send love to whoever you remember. I am love and I send love. Take name, people, person, picture, events, past, worries of future. Just send love. Yes, I am the specialist of creation. I am the master of creation. And I thank again my higher self. And I close my aura to all except my higher self. And let this love radiate all the time, all around, to everyone, to everything. And be in your heart space, your home. This is actual homecoming. Whenever you feel, you may come out of this quiet practice. Slowly move your hands, wiggle your toes, your thumbs, your fingers. Feel your presence in this body. And open your palm and put it over your closed eyes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Drink some sip of water. Give yourself loving touch. And smile within. Welcome back. Anybody would like to share, speak, ask? So from here, we now know what to do when we find ourselves in past or future, or worries, or some kind of fear or limited thinking. What to do? Babaji has given all the tools and all the practices, how to do, creating formulas and all that. So that we keep moving, keep building on what we have become so far after this powerful practice of week 20, expanding communication to all life where only love talks. So how to be in that state? I didn't know about the FM tuner uh, misalignment, what Shailesh shared today. Like initially it was like self changing, not as fine tuned as we
Yeah.
said.
In those days, the radios were made with what they call as vacuum tubes. They didn't have solid state components. So because of their characteristic, they were temperature sensitive. So with temperature, their frequencies would automatically change. And that's why actually in my younger days, there used to be jokes based on that. You know how somebody suddenly speaking, giving some kind of a sermon, and in between cricket commentary starts, and then back to the sermon, and you know they would create jokes out of this thing. So that's how it used to be. So that is
I
the
could
example.
remember only
Yeah.
getting some static noise, like
Ah,
the voice is fading and the noise is increasing. That's what I remember, but I
yeah.
really can't remember like going to some other channel and
No, no.
you know.
In your childhood, vacuum tube radios were not there. There were solid state already by that time. They were all solid state, so you would not know. The Especially when two station the frequencies are very close. I'm not sure if any of you would have listened to Binaka Geet Mala in original on the radio. Originally, by tuning the radio to that, it used to be so difficult to get the signal also. That's it's all memory, but it was fun.
Seeing evolution from there to here.
Yeah, yeah. But we and this in this chapter, a very important thing we are learning, right? We are becoming master of creation. That means uh, once you have mastered this art and you know how creation happens, your thoughts will manifest without doing anything automatically once you have mastered, right? And mastering in this, the whole thing, the easiest thing to master is be with God's thought. Jump into the world of love. That's what the key is. So, staying in that state, your thoughts really become things. And I experience it every day. I can tell you that. Such experiences, I mean, just out of the blue, things will happen. Just because I was thinking about it. So,
Especially this chapter reminds us to take our power back, even if you have given your free will to somebody.
yeah.
Somebody drive your life or your choices. This is the time and how to do it.
Yes. This week, probably a very good assignment for each one of you would be to pay attention to in how many ways have I given my power away. Make a note. Just start listing down all that. In how many ways have I given away my power to someone else?
If you need to know how it happens actually. I think in
Ah,
chapter 6 it says, right, where when you give permission to somebody,
ah,
then only he can hurt you, right? That's the line is there. That line is there in chapter 6. So even in our thinking, right, if like we are doing something, we are getting our thoughts, and we are not aware what kind of thoughts are getting. We might not be doing as per our thinking. We might be doing as per somebody's thought I am receiving. So that's like a very fine uh, way to notice if I am with myself or creating with someone else's thought. So start
Yes.
observing from that point.
This observation will be extremely powerful once you begin to recognize. You will be amazed at yourself. Wow.
And it's not the other person doing anything, it's only us, because we think
Ah,
others are great, they are so good. We try to wear their shoes, and then we lose our natural um, talent.
trying to be like someone else. That is one of the things we do that.
Hard
And
way I have
it,
learned it.
and it doesn't feel wrong also, right? Because you've been mentally conditioned to accept it as right. So because of that conditioning, you don't even see anything wrong with that.
As we appreciate, right, as we like others so and so, so we silently try to copy, and we silently try we lose our innate nature, which is unique in itself. So that is also a reminder, when if the para says where there is infinite thoughts and infinite possibility that you can express. So instead of choosing from those limited thoughts, you can go and pick from those God's thought, which is infinite, to give you infinite experience. So and that awareness, we have to just keep shifting to that space all the time.
Diligence in noticing your thoughts. Be diligent. Am I drifting into illusion, or am I here in the present? Just this much. Good enough. Yes, Jayaji, you can unmute and speak. Yeah.
Um, when we were small, we had a picture of Sai Baba with his hand like this. And my mom said, he's asking you where. I said, what do you mean by that? I said, where are you? Are you in the present? So every time I passed by the photo, I remembered, where? Palat, tera dhyan kidhar hai? Like that. And then while you were explaining today, you said we may not be as successful as Bill Gates. So I think, what do you define success as? Is where your feet and your mind and your thoughts will go towards. So if um my idea of success is someone who is happy all the time, in spite of the situations. So my progress will be towards that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't feel Bill Gates is successful because he can be the loneliest person on the planet in
right.
But
spite
I think
of
what Shailesh
financially.
said, no, I think
Yeah.
he said about the money, how much money he
Yeah,
has.
wealthy. I was talking about wealth, but that's okay.
Mm,
It's all right.
mm,
You are
mm,
right. What you are saying is correct, that he may not be the successful guy,
mm,
right? But
mm,
the important aspect here is,
mm,
what is success for me, right? Me, that is important, right? For everyone, how others see me is immaterial. It doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, today we see success as how others see me,
mm,
right? We see somebody, my success is attached to opinions of
mm,
others.
mm,
That's where the problem is.
mm. And then also, uh, we have gone through this. First, it was मैं काफी अकेला हूँ. Then now it is मैं अकेला काफी हूँ.
Good.
So yeah, so that feeling of emptiness becomes a very complete whole feeling.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is the power of knowing yourself, right? When you know that there is no one else, then there is no meaning to being alone. You get the point. That's the power of knowing yourself. When you know that there is no one else, then there is the definition of being alone is not there at all.
Mm.
So understanding, expanding our consciousness, which we did in the past, was that only, that you are actually not alone. Knowing that is important. We get into the illusion of being alone because we have entrusted our power to someone else. Think of it logically. In reality, is there anyone alone on earth? The population is 8 billion people here. Nobody is alone. My aloneness, the feeling of aloneness, is in relationship to one or two or three few people. That is what I am entrusting my aloneness to. Right? Otherwise, I have no way of describing being alone, because there are 8 billion people around me. So this is the issue. We have to recognize that.
Also, when we were small, we used to play with the remote control. So if I like suddenly was upset or I was angry about something, my sister would take the remote control and press it facing me.
Mm,
It's like I got your remote control. And I'm pressing your buttons and you're changing your mood.
mm,
So that we would do very often at home to
mm.
just come back into the present. Or what happened? Why have you lost why are you not your happy self? Yeah.
Yes, that's a wonderful thing. Yes, excellent.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Always, it's always like that only in our life. If we pay attention, somebody is pressing the remote. Mm,
I want
And
to play this game with my son now.
yeah, as a teenager, we used to challenge everything we were told, in satsang, that they said, try it out. Don't just believe us. Otherwise, it's our gyan. It's not your gyan. So every time we used to play around. So very often, my mom would take the remote and she's like, and she'd look at me. I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then suddenly you smile. And then there was one last. There was a child who was looking at a fruit seller who had oranges, small baby oranges on his cart. And the seller called him, come, I'll give you. And he didn't say anything. Then again, after some time, he said, come, come, come. And he took a big pile of oranges in his palms and he gave the child. So he told the child, you were looking at me for so long. Why didn't you come and take the oranges beforehand? He said, if I take, my hands are so small, I will get only two. But when you gave me four. So our limited belief is only two. But actually, God wanted to give us so much more. Um, we just blocked our belief, we just blocked our thinking. Yeah.
wonderful. Beautiful
Yeah.
example. Yes, definitely. The play is unlimited if we align with God's thought. That's what this is. Yes. So just be in awareness. Be mindful about where your thoughts are. That is the key, actually. The whole course is about that only, reorganizing our thoughts.
So the example that you shared about the orange, I could see it from two ways. One who thinks only God, when I ask, I can ask from my limited mind and I can ask only two. And when God gives, it gives me, I can't even say. It's one way of seeing it. Another way, we realize that we attract things. So if my limited thoughts are just two, for two, I cannot get more. So I have to be in alignment with God's thought
Mm.
to attract more, not to be, waiting to be blessed. to be tuning to that,
Hmm.
you can tell it surrenderance, or you just tell it whatever you say. But we have to come to that frequency to attract.
We are the ones who set the limit, not God. God is always ready with unlimited possibilities. Always, always, always. We set limits because of our limited thinking. Yeah. Thank you,
So the
Jayaji.
book reminds a very beautiful few points. If you are lacking in love, create the thoughts of love. If you have thoughts of poverty, create thoughts of abundance. So these are those alignments where we attract. If that boy was greedy, he could have just asked, "Okay, give me two,"
Yeah.
but he waited um, for his energy, his intention to resonate, to express.
Let's hear Shailaji. What would you like to say?
Oh, thank you, Dinesh, for a beautiful explanation.
Sharaji, we
And
cannot hear you. Thank you, Jayaji.
oh, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for Shailesh for a beautiful explanation, and thank you Shailesh, for beautiful meditation, and thank you Anna for beautiful reading. I think today's chapter taught me so much. I know I asked a question last week on Sunday. I answer is here. So I and each and every sentence which you explained, and yes, it is occurring to me, and I know so many messages I got last week. I was thinking glass is half full and all that. So now when I go back and read these sentences, it is clearly telling me again and again, yes, that is true. So I know how I attracted. So I know how to make correction. So now I have to work on it. So this is very clear. And also one of the chapters, the earlier ones before which I read, see, God wants to give the floodlights, and I'm only having a one single candle. So that is how we are. It's like so much abundance is there, and we're stuck in just one candlelight. So that says so much. So that example, that reading, that line stuck with me. So now, like, I'm constantly, I know it's because we're conditioned so much. So always the negative thinking or whatever the other one which take priority. So now, with this chapter reading and again, uh, I'm thinking that okay, that's it. I'm going to manifest what I want now. So the remote control is in my hand. So I'm taking control of it. Not I'm not giving it to anybody else. I know the knowledge, we know this, but still the practicing, the discipline, the consistently working on it. That's the part which feels like work, need more work. So thank you. I'm
Yes,
so
and the process, the action that we have to take has been made very simple in this chapter, right? Only one
yes,
thing we have to do, he says, jump into the pond of love. Just jump into that. And once you do that, you are automatically aligned. That is important. Whenever you notice that you are in illusion, come back to the present, right? Come back, use all your senses and snap out of that thought. This is the technique he has taught us.
yes. I also want to tell you. Yes, from last week, the love. So I was, doing meditation, and then PPG said, "You are going to be in that state for whole day, not only when you're doing meditation, right?" So that
Yes.
stuck with me. In past few days, I've been trying that. So
Yeah.
you keep love, and then do the other things.
Yes.
It is. I'm feeling to notice change. I mean, right now I'm not seeing the big difference, but I know I'm progressing in that. So yes, so you have that state, and then you go through your day and doing applying all this. So yes, it does make difference. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Who
Thank
else
you.
would?
Thank you. I'll take a leave. We'll meet
Yeah.
again tomorrow. Please continue.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else anybody would like to add? Yes, Sheelamji, you can speak. Yeah, sure.
Good evening, everyone. I think it was a very beautifully explained and also very well read by Annaji. And I realized, I think most of my life, I've always given my control, this thing, free will in others' hands, and never realized that was the main cause of my suffering. Because from childhood, I never wanted to take decisions, so I would always give it to others to do the thing. And today's lesson was a very big, like eye opener to realize that I never tried to take the initiation that I should plan my own things. So I think it was a beautiful reminder to make me realize many of my questions why life is like this. So
In the
and
in the guise of being a good child, in the guise of being an obedient son or daughter, we give away our free will, right?
so it continued actually. That's the whole issue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it starts, and then it becomes a norm.
Yeah. And secondly, I really like Jayaj is saying, actually it is true. Sai Baba says, I want lot of this thing, wealth. Please come and take it as much as you want. But it was a very beautiful, this thing. The boy saying, if I came and took, I couldn't take more than two. But when you give me, in a big, it's much more. So when we allow God to give it to us, with sincerity, we poured with all the wealth on us. If
Yes,
we try it, we'll number it and it'll be a very insignificant number that we get. So now
absolutely.
it was a very beautiful, simple chapter. As you repeatedly said, everything was repeated again and again, again and again. The whole,
Yes.
if you go to summarize, it's only one line.
Mm.
Nothing much, Yeah.
Yes. It's all about being mindful.
Uh, so thank you so much. I
Thank you.
just want to share it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shilamji. Thank you. All right. So, anyone else would like to say, or we can bring today's session to a close now, and tomorrow we'll get together again. So tomorrow we'll have more chance to um, giving it more thinking. Put your thought today on areas where all you have given the power away. Right? Work on that. Make a list. Don't have to do anything for now. Just make a list. Observe in how many ways have I given my power away. Make a list. Just make a list. Once you have made a list, you will be able to correct it.
Miss
Becoming, yeah,
and
yeah.
me.
Do it. It is, I am telling you, it will be worth doing it. It will be really worth. You will suddenly start feeling the freedom of existence. So much. So just do it. It doesn't matter that you have covered all of it. It's whatever comes. Just start from there. Whatever. Maybe it's 4 or 5 things, fine. Starting with that will start opening up that channel. Okay? So please do that. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for your beautiful reading, and thank you for your patience, all the masters. We'll get together again tomorrow.